It's your boy Jose from Big Me Sports. How are you guys doing on this lovely, lovely Tuesday? Taco Tuesday. Just want to say I'm doing a little better after Dallas Cowboys took care of the Patriots 38-3. But before we start on that, let's talk about hitting that like, subscribe button. I really appreciate it just to boost up this channel. I do this as a hobby. I got a job, do this on the side, do this as fun, but it'll be great to boost this channel, get more people involved. And don't forget when you're watching, you can comment. I can see the comments below and I can interact. So don't forget to comment, okay? And let's talk about something, okay? Because look, Dallas Cowboys defense, totally redeem yourself. Holy crap! Look, the piss poor performance that we had versus Arizona, I gotta say they turned it around. Now, granted, it's the Pats team, but this is the exact same team that the Pats that we're talking about are the ones that held it close to the Eagles. They're like a toe tap away from almost, winning that game. Um, so I don't want to hear it. They are competitive. Now, Mac Jones really sucks. But they couldn't get anything going. Our main objective, and I wanted to see it, and I spoke upon this with some friends of mine. And I said I wanted to see how this defense was gonna fare against the run versus the Patriots, because the Patriots like to run. But the true test is next week against the run when we play the 49ers and McCaffrey. I think it's two different styles of running games that we saw. More of the style that we got killed with Arizona, we're probably going to see with the 49ers. But I'm glad on what I saw and how we rebounded. Okay, how the Cowboys team rebounded versus the Pats. Now this defense, okay, look, Bland, two interceptions. LVE got a scoop and score for a fumble. I'm telling you, like, the first week, there's some new pieces. Donovan Wilson was in there for the first trying to get that home run. Trying to get that knockout punch and getting out of his lanes. Jordan Lewis, and I feel like there's more cohesionness on the defense, more better communication on what they're doing. Um, and I just felt like it was a all around better game for the defense. Um, the thing I'm still concerned about is LVE as linebackers. We are very, very, very thin on the linebacker crew. And it's just LVE shooting gaps. I don't see him. I don't see that attacking linebacker. Wants to get caught up on some, on the linemen. And it just baffles me on how, like, he's digressed throughout the years. Now, this wasn't the same LVE a few years ago that was attacking. I don't know if it has to do with neck issues. I don't know what it is with LVE, but when Overshawn went down in the preseason game, I kind of it kind of hit. It kind of took this Cowboys defense. When we're gonna say it was probably gonna be number one, maybe dropped it down a little bit because of expectations at linebacker. But then now with the Diggs injury, now we're like searching, because when you had Diggs, when you really look at it, Diggs and Gilmore, they didn't move. It's there's like, oh, you take care of that guy and you take care of this guy. It was more of let's see how this gonna play out. You can cover that one, you can cover this person over here. But without Diggs, now Gilmore has to travel. Now Bland is the one, they're gonna try to pick on, which it didn't work this time. And Bland has been awesome. He has led the league in interceptions since he's come in the league last year. So he's a ball hawk also. I can't wait to see this team, next year. And well, not to think of ahead, but with a healthy Diggs, a healthy Bland. I don't know if Gilmore is going to be here next year, but I'm pretty sure they'll draft another DB. So I can't wait to see because if you really look at this, we were good on the defensive front and the back half. Now we have some questions here and there, but our defensive line really took it to the Pats. Now, offensive wise, we're leading the league in 10 plus plays. Okay. I would say that the offense seems to move the ball down the field, and then we get to the red zone. And look, I want to say it does, it's gonna a cause of concern for me. But when you really look at the all 22 access view and you kind of, nitpick, we're talking about people dropping passes. It's just a bunch of miscues. People dropping passes, not penalties, not getting being on the right play. It's just those miscues, and you can't have that versus the 49ers or any top team. I would like to finish drives. We are like last in the red zone. We're like 30th in the red zone, but we're like number one in 10 plus drives. We off third down efficiency, we're top of the league in third down. We're like at 50 something percent, which is great. We're extending drives, but our main thing, and it's I hated for it to be a topic because then everybody talks about Dak Prescott. It's and that man. If Scootermaker catches that first drive, that dime that Dak threw, then we're not talking about red zone issue because he catches that touchdown, but he drops it. This is like little things here and there, and I think they need to clean it up. They'll be more efficient. But look, I am I'm excited. We got back to our winning ways. Now 49ers, I mean, it's gonna be. I want to say it's gonna be a a great game. Is this our Super Bowl? Maybe. Is it is a lot of people going to be watching this on Sunday Night Football because they're going to criticize the Dallas Cowboys or 49ers? Look, it is what it is. But look, my question for this game is who wins Sunday night? Dallas or 49ers? And comment below, please. Because I really have a good feeling that Cowboys might pull it off. It's a tough task. One, because it's away. It's a night game. But I do feel that Dallas Cowboys have a little sour taste in their mouth from getting booted the past couple years by the 49ers. Now, it all depends on how Dak Prescott plays. But I know this defense, like it was a close game. If you guys really look at this game last year, we're not getting blown out by the 49ers. Last year's game, which they have the exact same team as last year, last year's game was a very close game. If it wasn't for George Kittle illegal touching because he was ineligible to go downfield, and when he caught that Brock Purdy, what was it, 20 or 30-yard pass that eventually led them to a touchdown, that was a third down play, if you really look at it. You take that away, you take those points away, possibly win the game, you know. But you take Dak Prescott's 2 interceptions, so on and so forth. I think Dak is doing a better job this year of taking care of the ball. And if you look at it, he has 1 interception, and that was in the Arizona game. And I think he was just trying to force it. Now, I the remedy for the Cowboys' success has been get a lead, jump on top of the team, and let that defensive line go to work. Sack the quarterback. Um, but this defensive line is going to be tested on the 49ers and all their, movements. They have studs all over the place if you look at the 49ers offense and defense. And I just want to see this is where it tells where the Dallas Cowboys are they for real or are they just beating up on bad teams? And I want to say the first where they're for real, and we have to prove it. Now, can we get a breakout game by Brandon Cooks because we haven't really taken that deep shot with Brandon Cooks? Um, more deep shots. I know we got a little bit better on the deep shots this past game. CD Lamb for a 20-yard TD. We were taking those shots, but we haven't utilized Brandon Cooks, as we're talking about. What about the dog? We're about to talk about the dog. Wait, hold on. Here's a comment we got. We're about the dog walk the cowgirls, 49ers. Hey, look, it is what it is. Look, it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good game. Yeah, I got 49ers fans here talking crap. Hey, that's fine. And I applaud that. They're a great team. They're a great team. We're just gonna see how the Cowboys are gonna go out and take care of business. Now, it's gonna be look. I would say that last year, if you want to really look at it, last year the whole game turned when Tony Pollard broke his leg. That whole game really, really turned when he broke his leg because now you just have the 49ers just had to worry about uh CD Lamb, didn't have to worry about the running game because Zeke was just washed up and couldn't get those explosive runs. So if everybody's healthy and we just won our offensive line, hopefully, knock on wood. I don't know what in the hell is up with Thursday practices with the Dallas Cowboys and injuries, but we seem to always have a big injury on Thursdays. It's either Thursday or Friday practice. I don't know what kind of practices we're doing, but it should be like just like a tune-up. Um, but hopefully Tyron Smith is there, match up with Tyler Smith, and our whole starting offensive line is there. We haven't had that for what, almost 12 plus games, and because somebody's always hurt. Now, granted, I think that they held out Tyron Smith one more week to get that knee better for the 49ers. And now that would be great if that did happen. Hopefully he is back this week because we're going to need it with this 49ers pass rush. They're I want to say that the 49ers are susceptible in the back end for the deep throws. So we got to take our shots. We can dink and dunk because they do have great linebackers. But on the defensive side, you know, just hold your assignment. My thing is don't get caught up on the, glitz and glamour and stuff like that with all the movement of people. Just know what you're going to do, hold your own, and we'll see what happens. Again, it was a close game. I think that the Niners game with Niners and Cowboys was a better game than the Niners and the Eagles. Even though I think that the Niners would have blown out the Eagles if Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt. You know, let me see. We got another one here. Here it says we didn't have to worry about Pollard either. Y'all got Dak. Dak makes the score look better on our end. Hey, look, that was last year's Dak. That was last year's Dak. Let's see if this year's Dak is any different. And again, we've played some good defenses. The Jets, which if you want to talk about, I know people are like, oh, the Jets and Zach Wilson, but they had that defense. And look at Patrick Mahomes, who struggled against that defense. And we put up 30 plus points on them. So it's going to be a good game. And I thank the person that's commenting. I appreciate you being interactive and stuff like that. But we'll see. Hey, I don't like to talk my trash now. I'll let my trash talking happen when after the game if we win. But it is going to be a good game. I do think like it's either 49ers or Cowboys coming out of the NFC. Okay. I am not impressed by the Eagles. I am not. If you look at the Eagles and how much points they're giving up, I mean, they almost got beat by the commies. And I swear I thought Riverboat Ron was going to go for the 2-point conversion to end the game, and he didn't. And that kind of disappointed me because I really thought that you had a slight momentum. Just end the game there. Don't put it in your defensive hands. Don't put it again in your offense going overtime. You never know. I think you had that one shot, commies, to beat the Eagles, and you did it. But we'll see. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a great game. But we're gonna go to our next segment. We're gonna talk about Dolphins versus Bills. Because look, um, that was ugly. That was ugly, and I was trying to get JC, my co-host, on here to talk about what happened on that game, but my view on what happened, because that was a 48-20 beatdown that the Dolphins got. But it's a humbling experience. If you really look at it, there is a stat that says 1 out of 6 teams, after scoring 50 the week before, have won the next week. I wish I'd known that before I placed my bet on the Dolphins beating the Bills, because I've kind of jumped on that bandwagon. But 1 out of 6 teams, after scoring 50, the next week they won. So is it, this is my next question, and well, you can comment below. One, is it time to panic in Miami? But who is to blame for Sunday's loss in Miami? Miami versus Bills. Who's to blame? Because it started off as a shootout with these two. And then all of a sudden, you know, I don't know what happened to his defense with Miami, but Kader Kohu, he was just getting torched by Diggs. And at some point, I was waiting for Nick Fangio to say, let's throw some help on that side. And I felt like it never happened. Like, Diggs went off. And I go for Diggs, Stephon Diggs, because his brother plays for the Dallas Cowboys. That's Trayvon. Um, but is it time to panic also if you're a Dolphins fan? Or it is what it is. You can't beat the Bills. You haven't beat the Bills in such a long time. What is it? Like, I think it has to be some blame on the defense. Some play calling got a little sketchy there. Going for fourth down. Tua trying to make the big play with the interception. Think he could have checked it down, gotten a little more yardage. But with them playing how they played, I don't think there's any panic, if you want to say. But I do want to blame this loss on the Dolphins on the defensive side. Now, where's Bradley Chubb? Dolphins spend all this money on Bradley Chubb to be very non-existent. Like, this guy is like, I haven't heard of him making like big plays, and maybe it's one of those, like, the stat line doesn't show and stuff like that. But man, if I'm playing a guy that much money, I need some pressure on the quarterback. I need some sacks. Um, and yes, their Dolphins had a lot of quite a few people out. Jalen Phillips, Connor Williams, and then Armstead goes out in the second quarter. Man, that guy, that guy can't even stay healthy. So you're down 40% of your starting offensive line, and I can see why then it became a struggle after the second quarter to score. But somehow, some way, you got to get Waddle involved. And I know that he had a concussion the prior 2 weeks before, and he was held out last week. But man, you have Jalen Waddle there. You barely use him, And I don't know if that was his design or what the case may be, but get him involved. I know you guys are trying to run with A Chain and Moser, but and A Chain or whatever, a chain or however you want to say it, because I know that he talked to the media, but it's you have to get your explosive players, and I feel like Waddle, don't force it to Tyreek as much. Get Waddle involved somehow, some way, because, and I'm not just saying that because I have Waddle in my fantasy, but you have to get him involved to win his game. Now, I feel that this is very a humbling experience for the Miami Dolphins. Um, they they were humbled. They were humbled. Brought them back down to you know to earth. They're doing their dances when they're up, by 60 and 70. They're doing like, they had choreographed dances already. Um, and it was fun. It was fun to see. But then you get humbled, and look, just like the Cowboys the week prior, got humbled by Arizona, came back and beat the Pats. Dolphins have two get right games coming up, and I believe both of them are home. The Giants and the Panthers. Now I think those two games just to get back to some confidence. Let's put get right games, get everybody on the same page. Defense, work some stuff out. Um, and you really have to look at it as also with going back to like the Diggs and Kader Kohu, like where was Xavier Howard? Like to me, I'm forcing that guy to travel with Diggs. I thought we were going to see a Diggs and Howard most of the game. Um, at some point, you have to like, I don't know, like it just baffled me how they just left him Kader Kohu out there on the island to get torched by Diggs. And the tackling, it was just a bad game for the defense. And you do have those bad games. You do have those bad games, but it kind of sucked that it happened versus the Bills, a team that you really haven't beat. They're, the top of that NFC East, so AFC East, sorry, for a reason. And I would just like to see like the changing of the guard, because everybody, a lot of people still think that the Bills run that division. So we'll see if we'll see at the end of the year. But look, I'm telling you now, I think for Sunday's loss, it was to blame on the defense and Nick Fangio. Now, again, comment below what you think, okay? And we'll see. Like I think there's gonna look. They're playing the Giants. The Giants suck. They keep on getting. They got blown out by Seattle. Their offensive line sucks. So I can't really test and see how this defense is the next two games because again you're playing the Giants and the Panthers. But I want them to build some confidence. But you see how big of a loss Jalen Phillips is on that defensive line, just creating pressure. This felt like Josh Allen was back there doing whatever he wanted and no real pressure, and it hurt the Miami Dolphins. But look, that's all we have for today's podcast. Thank you, T Smitty, that was commenting all quite a few comments down there, and I read them. Thank you for interacting. I appreciate you, T Smitty. But hopefully you're on here next week when my Cowboys, if my Cowboys win, hopefully you're on here so we can keep on talking crap. But thank you for tuning in, everybody. Please like, subscribe to the page. Don't forget to check out all of our past podcasts. We are on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Also YouTube. YouTube, if you want to look at past videos, just go on the live section. Past videos on the live feeds. You can check that out. But thank you for tuning in, and we'll check you on next week. Go Cowboys. We beating 49ers next week. You heard it from here. Take care, guys.